Sir, unmute your mic, sir. Sir? Sir, kindly unmute your mic, sir.
Good morning, one and all present here. I like to congratulate the Department of Corporate Secretaryship for conducting today's program on emotional intelligence, an explanatory life skill for every career. And also, on behalf of the management and our Secretary Mundraji, I like to welcome the resource person, Mr. D. Manivannan, a life skill trainer and career mentor, who is going to deliver a content on this particular above topic. The head of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Dr. Prabha Rajagopalan, Dr. K. Kalpana Devi, head in charge, and other faculty members. I am very happy to be part of this particular workshop on emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is not a new topic for us. Whenever we have any problem with us, we used to tell that little bit I have become emotional. Due to emotional, the people used to cry, the people used to laugh, and the people used to become blank. This is nothing but ability to understand us and manage our own emotions in positive way to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflicts. So when you talk about all these things, these are the very important one, and how we are going to manage ourselves during this time is very important. During the pandemic situation, you know that we have to start the college from Monday onwards. Definitely, it is a big challenge for the institution and also the principal with respect to the safety. But I could not take this more emotional, and I could not go much into that disease, and I could not do anything. What I have to do, I have to see what is the rule, what is the orders given by the government, what is the present scenario. Accordingly, I should be a good leader to take a decision without thinking about the negative point of the COVID. So this better office environment, why we want to have a better office environment? Ambience of the office environment will make you to take decision. That's why we are making, when you go to vice chancellor rooms of universities, this will be a very big one where you can see a good ambience, where you can conduct meetings, everything, and where the positive thing will be discussed in that particular room. Ambience is needed to think about the positive thing. Adjustment can be made. More self-awareness. You have to have a self-awareness. You have to have a self-control and time management. Because of this more emotion, you will not be able to follow a time. So how to control the emotion is very important. So in the present scenario, this topic is very important. This topic is very important for our students and also to the faculties and also to the general public. So keeping in this mind, the corporate department, both the shift 1 and shift 2 have chosen this topic, which is a need of the hour. So once again, I like to congratulate the organizer for having this workshop today. And also I like to thank the speaker for accepting the offer to deliver his content for our students and also to the faculty. Once again, I thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. K. Kalpana Devi, Assistant Professor and Head in Charge, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Evening, to introduce the speaker, Shri D. Manivannan.
Hearty welcome to one and all present here. I extend a special welcome to Sri D. Manivannan for accepting our invitation to conduct a session on emotional intelligence in the Skill Enhancement Workshop organized by the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Day and Evening. Emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in helping us navigate day-to-day challenges in our life. People with high emotional intelligence are usually successful in their career and life. Sri Manivannan will now be sharing his valuable insight about emotional intelligence. Sri Manivannan has 40 years of industry experience starting as production supervisor at Britannia Industries Limited and then as general manager for Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. He was working as the head for infrastructure and development at Chettinad Health City and executive director at Velamal Knowledge Park. He is an entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Septon Ventures and Diantes Event. He serves as an advisor to Albright Stonebridge Group, New Delhi, and chief coordinator at Department of Chemical Engineering, Annamalai University, STEAD, Student and Staff Training Evaluation and Development Center. He is certified as a master practitioner for neurolinguistic programming from NFNLP USA and life skill facilitator from Arise Foundation USA. He is also certified as a career guidance counselor and trainer for corporates, colleges, and schools. He is a professional tennis player. He is also a 100-kilometer long distance cyclist and 21-kilometer marathon runner. He is a member of Madras Management Association and Indian Society for Training and Development. And he is an active Freemason. Now I request Sri D. Manivannan to take over the session.
Good morning, one and all. I'm very happy to be amidst your elite group of students, staff, and management of DG Vaishnav College. I hope I'm audible and clear. Can somebody show a thumbs up? Yeah, okay. So, an intro about emotional intelligence cannot be better briefly explained as did Captain Dr. Santosh Babu, the principal of the college. I thank him. I thank the management of the college, Secretary Sri Ashok Kumar Mundra, the head of the department, Dr. Prabha Rajagopalan, and the head in charge, Dr. Kalpana Devi, and all you students for being here and giving me an opportunity to be amidst you and share the good things that I can do with you. So today's topic, as you know, is emotional intelligence. And excuse me, I'm just trying to get this slide. Okay, I'm starting our time with the images of three eminent people. I'm sure you will be able to recognize them. The first is our President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovind. And the second is Dr. Shivan, he's the chairman of ISRO. And the third is P.U. Chitra, the 1,500 meters champion in the Asian athletic meet. Now, the reason why I'm showing these three people of different professions, one a politician, another a scientist, and third an athlete, a sports person, is because they all have one very common skill which has made them come to this level. That skill is emotional intelligence. Ramnath Kovind sir was born in a very remote village in Kanpur district. In his village, they did not even have a cycle. So he had to travel 7 kilometers to go to a school. And when he was just 5 years old, the mud hut in which he was living, the thatched roof collapsed and his mother died. He was just raised by his father, and the change came when he entered college. From then on, there was no looking back, and he became a lawyer and an attorney general and rose to the level of a governor and then president of India. Dr. Shivan was born also in a very remote village in Tuticorin district, and his parents were farmers. And he also had a change in his life when he did his college. P.U. Chitra did not go to college, but her change also happened when she was in her late teens, like how you students are. She was born in a very small village in Palakkad district. Her parents were also coolie workers. So now all these three people, the look in their eyes shows a sign of confidence and an eagerness to achieve. So this is given by emotional intelligence. Now today's session, friends, will cover 7 interesting topics which will change your lives. It can improve you in a way you cannot imagine. 1, neural science. 2, principles of emotional intelligence. 3, the power of the unconscious mind. 4, self-awareness. 5, empathy. 6, eustress. And 7, anger management. So these are very important topics. Each will take weeks to cover, like a subject in your own college. But we are going to condense all of these with examples and interesting facts and figures to make you understand the importance of emotional intelligence and learn some techniques so that quickly you can start to practice. Now, friends, IBM, International Business Machines, the world leader in consultancy and in strategic planning, has found out 5 important skills that are required in the next decade from 2020 to 30. The 5 skills that are required by anybody in whatever profession they may be or they would like to be are: 1, emotional intelligence; 2, creative thinking or creativity; 3, innovation; 4, flexibility and adaptability, to change your mind and your actions to different situations, because change is permanent. Every day there are changes. Then 5, automation. Now menial working and manual working is all going to be redundant and everything is going to become automated. And finally, everyone should be tech savvy. If you are not tech savvy, if anybody says I don't know to use the computer, you cannot be in the limelight. So these are the skills, friends, that you have to have. You have to possess all these skills. All these skills are like playing cricket or learning to play swim or do anything. Every skill has 2 components: technique and practice. You learn the technique and put them to practice, you can learn any skill in the world. Every skill is possible to learn, but you have to first know the techniques from a master who has already learned these techniques and has already put them to practice for a long time. Then once you learn the techniques and then put into practice, you will become a master of the skill. So S is equal to T plus P. Skill is equal to technique plus practice. Please understand that, and please also note down these important skills that you require to possess in your life. Now, every day we see this column in papers: opportunities, jobs, things like that. And you see repeatedly, I'm sure you're all reading the newspapers because that's one of the important things that you should do. Reading newspapers is a must, and reading all types of topics is very important. So you see many topics in the column of job opportunities that emotional skills are now being given a lot of importance. Okay, so more than technical skills. Now the college teaches you academic knowledge, so you become good in corporate secretaryship, commerce, or history, or science, or engineering, or whatever. But apart from that, the second track that you need for your train to go is emotional intelligence and life skills. Now, academic skills and emotional intelligence and life skills are the 2 rails on which your train will go. It is not a monorail. Okay, so if somebody says, no, my train can run on a monorail, no, this is a 2-way rail. So emotional intelligence is very simply putting like in this diagram. One on the left is the heart, on the right is the brain. Sometimes we think from the heart, sometimes we think from the brain. The brain is analytical, the heart is intuitional or emotional. So how to balance these two is the intelligence. Okay, so in which situation you have to use what, or what combination of what is the skill that we are going to learn today. Okay, very briefly putting in, emotional intelligence means to manage your own skill, emotions, and the emotions of the people around you. That is important. See, first of all, what is management? What do we say by managing? You have certain things in your hand. Okay, so when there is a building construction, there is a mason and there are some workers. Each worker may be having different skills, but the mason, will know what which person to be employed for which job. It's called staffing, choosing the right person for the right job. That skill he will have, that mason. Some person may be weak, he may give him some work where strength is not important. So like that, you have different emotions, negative, positive. How to manage them is the management. But emotional intelligence is not only managing your own emotions, but you have to understand the emotions of the people around you and also manage theirs. That is the leadership skill. Like our principal said, you must, in the given situation, think positively. There will be negativities, but you must manage your own positive emotions and also take the positive emotions of others and manage. That is the emotional skills which are needed for you in your life. Okay. Now, let me give a very small example. Now, emotional intelligence is not the use of hands, it is the use of your brain, or in the brain, the use of your thoughts. First of all, you must understand emotional intelligence happens here. Okay, so now all of you, please follow the instructions I'm giving. Please relax, sit comfortably, close your eyes, and think of a banana, a plantain. Think of any banana, but any one banana. Think of how the shape is. Think of how the texture is, how the smoothness is. Think of how the taste is. Think of how the smell is. Think of the color. Think of the whole thing as a visual experience, like a video. Okay? Think of how you are opening the skin and eating it. Okay, friends? Right. Just stop, open your eyes. Now, some of you would have thought of the green banana. Some of you would have thought of the yellow one, and some others the red one. Now, how is it that when I just say banana, one word, you all think differently because of your individual experience in your life? Somebody would have had a lot of this type or that type or the other type. So subjective means depending on each individual. Okay. So you must understand, first of all, that for just one word, we are all thinking differently. So similarly, for any situation, different people, all of us, will be thinking differently. So when you are managing different people, you must understand first that the other person would have thought about a particular subject differently. So when you talk to him, what you are telling from your subjective experience will be received by him who has a different experience. So you cannot immediately assume or presume that whatever you have said is the final one. That person's understanding and perception will be different. You must first understand that. So once you understand that different people think about a subject differently, you will not enforce anything or try to take something from somebody in a wrong way, in a negative way. So this is very important in intelligence, emotional intelligence. Now, friends, let us come to emotion itself. Intelligence is separate, first emotion. Now, in this image, you see a person whose eyes are closed, but there is a tear falling from his right eye. What has caused or created that tear? Whether he is happy or sad, we don't know, because the tear will come even when we are happy. But the point here which I want to emphasize is an emotion is capable of producing matter. A matter can be a gas, liquid, or solid. A liquid is also a matter. So just a thought has produced this person a tear, which is a matter. That is the power of an emotion. Emotion has no shape, size, or color, or smell, or taste, but it has produced matter. So you must first understand that every emotion, whether it is negative or positive, has tremendous power, infinite power. It is up to us to use that power in the right way. If we use that power, it is like an electrical energy. In the right way, it can produce light or something. But if it is used wrongly, it can also be used to do something wrong. Now, see, friends, in the you see the picture of the angry bird. Now, this company has become one of the biggest video game companies in the world just by this game, Angry Bird. They have specifically made this image look angry and put the word Angry Bird because they know from psychologists that anger will penetrate deep into the emotional bank of anybody and become addicted to the game. Why couldn't have they named it as Happy Bird? They wouldn't have sold many games. So we must know also that anger is a very powerful emotion which we will all have. You see the idol of Lord Nataraja, he has a small demon under his feet. That is anger or negative emotions or ego. So even the Lord says, or God says that there is anger in everybody or negative emotions, but we must keep them under our feet. If we don't do that, they will overpower us. So we must understand that negative emotions are there and we must recognize that. One important negative emotion is stress. And now stress is coming in different ways, like because of COVID, like a principal said, and so many other ways. Each one will have different types of stress depending on their subjective experience. And this stress, if it is not managed properly by each one of you, it will go to a stage of manifesting into some medical problems, some diseases, some disorders, health issues, mental issues. So we must be very careful how to manage stress. Today we will see some techniques to manage the stress. Now, first topic that we are going to see is neural science. Friends, we all know that in our brain there are 400 billion neurons, more neurons than there are the grains of sands in the beaches or the stars in the sky. Now, whenever we think, there are signals which jump from one neuron to the other and it forms a chain. In between the two neurons, there is a gap called a synapse. And then once the neural pathway is made, then we learn something. This is the process of learning. Now, there is a science in this. Let us see what it is. Now, for that, let us understand a little bit about the most fascinating creation of God, the brain. In the brain, there are these different parts. First, the eye gets the stimulus from the smell or the taste or some different feelings, and then it passes the signal through the neurons from the frontal lobe to the thalamus, and from there the signal goes to the back side, which is the occipital lobe. If you all feel at the back of your head, there will be a small lump in the middle of the back at the nape of the neck. That is called the occipital protuberance. Okay. Now the occipital lobe receives the signal and then sends it to the amygdala through the hippocampus. Now, this was the earlier understanding that whenever we receive a signal, it goes around like this, and then the place where emotions develop is the amygdala. Amygdala is capable of secreting different chemicals. So the signals have some charge. It is an electrical charge, and there are some chemicals just being produced. So this whole process is an electrochemical reaction. Please understand, a thought is an electrochemical reaction which happens inside the brain. These are all proven things which I am telling. It is not my own imagination or just taken from the internet. So it is very proven for many decades. Now this electrochemical reaction is something which we can manage. That is what I'm saying. Depending on the raw materials we put, you must be knowing basic chemistry. Whatever raw materials we put, and the end product will be depending on the process. The quality of the raw material is very important. Even if the process is good but the raw material is not good, the end product will be bad. So if the thoughts are good, and the way we are going to use the neural science and the emotional intelligence, the final outcome we are going to get as a very good output. This is our ambition. Okay. Now, of late, it has been found that there is something called an amygdala hijack. Now, instead of going all the way around, the signals from the yellow portion, that is the thalamus, directly go to the amygdala, the pink portion. So this means that our thoughts immediately reach the amygdala and it produces some chemicals. There are some bad chemicals, there are some good chemicals which can be secreted. It depends on our thoughts. So sometimes if we receive a negative signal, if we don't convert it into a positive signal, we will get negative chemicals, which will produce negative thoughts and negative actions. So we must understand that the brain is doing amygdala hijack. So quickly it happens. So this is the reason why we, as an impulse, we react. Now there is a difference, friends, in the two words, to react or to respond. React means immediately do something or tell something or act. If we go on the road, somebody talks something, some unknown person or an auto driver or somebody, we immediately react. Okay, so that is because of the amygdala hijack. But if we allow some time and think what we should say, what will be the consequences, how to manage this a little bit, not a long time, just a few seconds. Now the signals will then go to the occipital lobe, where the analytical brain starts functioning, and you will start thinking about the consequences, the impact of what you're going to do or say. And then when the signal goes to the amygdala, it will produce good chemicals. And then you will think in a good way, in a positive way, and get good decisions and solve the issues in a nice way. So this is important for you to understand. So what are the good chemicals that transmit to the neurons, and then you think in a nice way? These are very important four chemicals called dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin and serotonin. Now we are going to now learn the technique how to secrete these chemicals in our brain. Okay. Now I'm introducing to you four beautiful friends for your life, for your entire life. You must take them, receive them, open the doors of your mind like you're receiving somebody in your home. Open your door and say, welcome, please come, all of you four friends, come into my home. Like that, you open your mind and remember today that you are welcoming these four happy chemicals as your friends for your entire life. These friends, you are going to call them as dopamine, endorphin, oxytocin, and serotonin. You're going to have them with you always, and that will make you smile like this emoticons from morning to night. Whatever challenges you may have, whatever difficulties or problems you may have, and you will be very happy in your life. Now, how to develop the quantity of dopamine? Just very easy. You don't need any money, you don't need any investment, you don't need any degree or clothes or properties, nothing. You just only have to do these four things that I have given you. You have to complete a task, whatever small things, then Once you complete a task, dopamine will secrete. Okay? Self-care activities, managing yourself, being clean from the top to the toe, being very healthy. All these are self-care, eating on time, sleeping on time, being very calm and physically fit. All these things, eating good food. Okay, small victories. Celebrating means not going to some place and spending a lot of money, but just being happy, sharing with others. These activities will secrete dopamine. Oxytocin, playing, hugging with somebody, holding hand, or giving a compliment, appreciating somebody. All these things you can do, right? It's very easy. You don't need any, like we say, Kamba Sutra knowledge or mantra for doing all these things. Very easy, right? If you do keep doing this, oxytocin will develop. You are producing in your own mind factory, in your amygdala factory. Serotonin, meditating, running, exposing to the sun, walking, swimming, cycling. All these have been proved by experiments, by thousands of millions of experiments. When somebody does not do this, what was the serotonin? Scientists have calculated. After doing this, what was the percentage of serotonin in the brain, in the amygdala? That also they have found out. These are mood stabilizers. The last one is the painkillers. Learning to laugh, having a joke, okay, exercising, all these things. So remember, you can secrete your own chemicals and develop your positive thoughts. Now, friends, very importantly, like I said, emotional intelligence is very important for your life in whatever field you're going to be. Some of you may be lawyers or accountants or auditors, or having your own business, or you may become an entrepreneur, you may become a chief executive of a company, you may become anything you want in your life. But whatever you are going to be in your life, you have to be happy. You are not going to tell today that I want to be unhappy in my life. No, nobody will say that. Each one may have different thoughts of your ambitions in life. Whatever you want to be, you must have emotional intelligence. So for that, like I said, the fundamental raw material is the thought. How the thought can even go and influence or form your own personality, you just see this entire cycle, you will be amazed. The thought develops into a feeling, the feeling develops into an emotion, and that emotion develops into a mood, and the mood develops into a temperament, and the temperament becomes an attitude becomes a behavior becomes a habit, and the habit becomes a character becomes a personality, and then the personality determines the thoughts that you get. You see, friends, each one of this we have heard in our life in different ways. That guy is a moody guy. He is very emotional. His attitude is not good. His temperament is good. His behavior sometimes has changed now. What is the habit you are having doing like this? You must be of good character. The personality of a person is not in his physical features. Like this, we have heard so many things in our lives. But what is the fundamental root cause for all that? Thought. So if your thoughts are good, the entire process will become good. It is like cooking a dish. If the vegetable is bad, can you cook a good dish? Whatever process you may do, you may have a micro oven, you may have a stove, or you may do whatever you want, you may add, but the raw material is bad, end product will be bad. So friends, in your life, from small thoughts to big decisions, what all the thoughts that you get should be positive. Our principal has beautifully told today that even during the negative situation of pandemic, the COVID, now leaving away the negative aspect, positive decisions are taken in a good ambience in the vice chancellor's room and in the conference room and in the principal's room, the secretary's room, like that. Now all these negativities are left out and positive thoughts are started, and then the whole process will be good. Let's move on to a next topic of the mind. Now, I'm going to tell you, friends, something very, very fascinating. Really, you are going to be feeling very happy about yourself today. Now, there are two sections of the mind. It's not like two parts of the mind, but two sections. One is a conscious mind and the other one is the unconscious mind. See, I've shown you a picture of an iceberg which has about 90% of its whole mass under the surface of the water, which is not seen, which is invisible. The visible portion is the 10% which is above. We call the tip of the iceberg. We always say, no, sometimes what we have seen is only the tip of the iceberg. That means most of the important things are hidden. Now, in our mind, the subconscious mind or the unconscious, both are the same. The subconscious mind is the 90%. The conscious mind is the 10%. Now, see, what are all constitute the conscious mind? Critical thinking, logical thinking, willpower, all these things. Subconscious mind, which are deep rooted below, deep in our mind, they are the beliefs, the creative thinking, the emotions, the imagination, all these things. Now, friends, let us take a very small example to understand what this is. Many of you will be knowing how to drive the bike or the car or the cycle, or learn to swim or play cricket or whatever. In the beginning, you were very conscious. This is the gear, this is the clutch, this is the brake, this is the accelerator, this is the rear view mirror, this is where I have to turn and look and press this and that. There are so many things that are there, the signals and the traffic. You are very conscious about everything. But as days go by, your conscious mind converts all that knowledge and the skill to the unconscious mind. So after some time, you don't even think about your driving. You are thinking about something else. You're going to the college and what about that, but you're driving the bike. So who drives the bike? Who moves the hand, left hand, the right hand, the left leg, the right leg? Who does it? You are not consciously doing it. Who does it? The unconscious mind. The unconscious mind controls your entire body. It makes you to think. It is thinking, because without thinking, um, how it will communicate and give commands to your hand to move this finger, that finger, the pressure of the fingers, the pressure of the feet on the brake or the accelerator. Each one is a very minute operation. You are finding it so difficult to learn this in the beginning stage consciously. What the conscious mind was finding it so difficult to learn, and took us such a long time, your unconscious mind is carefree doing it without any problem. You are doing so many wonderful things, amazing things, which is all done by the unconscious mind. So friends, what I'm coming to tell you is, your unconscious mind is very, very powerful, and 90% of what you think and you do are managed by the unconscious mind. So if you don't empower the unconscious mind in the beginning, and if you don't train and make the skill of the unconscious mind very good, then in your future it can do good or bad. It is all programmed. The unconscious mind is programmed. So far, whatever you have heard, if you have learned good language, your unconscious mind will learn it, will keep it and store it, and then when you want to communicate, it will use those good words. But if you have learned bad words from some bad friends or bad company, when you talk also, the bad words will come unconsciously. Then in your whole time life, unconsciously you will do so many things which will affect you. So you please understand, you have to empower your unconscious mind very correctly. It's like bringing up a baby. You must bring it up in a very nice way. Even if you have done something wrongly in the past, doesn't matter, you can reprogram. There are a lot of techniques to do. You can reprogram with more positivities. It is like if the small portion is affected, you give a lot of more things and that will become insignificant. So please understand, today 90% of what you do in your life is managed by the unconscious mind. So you have to be very conscious to make the unconscious mind good for you. So this is a very important aspect of emotional intelligence. Now, friends, let me give you another small game. Okay, so this is called suggestibility test. This is something to do with neuroplasticity. That means neurology, the nerves and other things. Plasticity means how flexible it is, how it can be managed. Now, how I'm going to reprogram is something which we are going to do in the form of a small game. Now, all of you, close your eyes, sit comfortably, feet on the floor, feet separated, not folded or something. Just keep your back erect and very comfortably do what I'm going to tell you. Close your eyes, stretch both your hands in front of you like this, straight in front of you in the same level. Okay, you can open your eyes for a moment and just see that your hands both the hands are straight. Straight means don't make it stiff at the shoulder. Don't make it stiff. Keep it relaxed. Keep it relaxed at the shoulders, two arms. Keep the two fingers not stiff like this, just like this. Just relax. See how this lady in the picture is keeping her arm in the front, like this, relaxed. See her elbows are also a little bent, relaxed. Now close your eyes. On your left hand, on the wrist, I'm going to tie a 2 kilo dumbbell, 2 kilogram weight. It's quite heavy. The dumbbell I'm going to tie on your left wrist, and that wrist is coming down. That wrist is coming down because of the weight. On the right hand, I'm going to tie 20 helium balloons. You know, the helium balloons will go up. It is lighter than air, and it is capable of lifting a good weight. So that helium and I've tied on your right hand. So on your left hand, there is a dumbbell which is weighing 2 kilos going down, and on the right hand, there are 20 helium balloons which are very light and which are lifting your hand. The right hand is being pulled down, the left hand is being pulled down, the right hand is being lifted up. The left hand is being pulled down and down and down and down because of the weight. The right hand is being lifted up and up and up by the helium balloons, which are very light and light. It is taking the hand up. Now, friends, gently open your eyes and you see the level of both your hands. I'm sure for all of you, the left hand would have at least marginally come down and the right hand would have gone up. This is a simple test to prove to you that there is something called neuroplasticity, and any suggestions that anybody gives will go to your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind will reprogram the neuroplasticity, and it will give commands, and the left hand will come down and the right hand will go up. So this means that your unconscious mind is capable of receiving suggestions when you are in a alpha state or in a trance state. So your unconscious mind can do wonders. That is a simple exercise. Let's move on. We have a lot of other things to cover. So now coming to the basics of emotional intelligence. See, friends, anything you learn, you must understand the basics. Just cramming or by hearting, or we call mugging up, and writing only for the sake of exams will not going to help you in your life. You have to understand the basics. It will take a long time, but once you are you're strong in your fundamentals and basics or principles, the whole life you can use it to do many things. A cricket player has to be strong in his fundamentals. Any player, without good technique and fundamentals, you cannot do. So let us learn the fundamentals, 5 basic principles of emotional intelligence. The first is self-awareness. That is knowing about yourself. This word our principal also told today morning, self-awareness. Managing our own emotions. I told you the example of the mason, how we are managing our own emotions. Then using the emotions to maximize our thinking rationally and to take good decisions. And developing empathy, that means empathy means to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes, to think like them, to think from their perspective and their subjective experience of things. That is a skill which we don't do at all in our lives. Unfortunately, we don't learn about it. But you, friends, today you are going to learn about empathy. Some of you would have already known it. But from today, if you practice empathy, you see what magic it does. Then the art of social relationships in your society with friends and other things, how to have a good relationship with everybody, even to the shop fellow, that shop person that you go to, the auto man, or the neighbors, the people in your apartments or place. These are all things which will totally give you emotional intelligence. Now, man, like they say, has 6 senses. Animal has only 5. So, which makes man a rational being. Okay, but if we don't use that 6th sense, we will become an animal, which is called an irrational being. If we don't know our own feelings, somebody says, "What do you feel now?" They say, "I don't know. I can't explain." That means he is having some difficulty, which is called alexithymia. Now, I've been on the board of so many companies in the highest levels. So I've interviewed so many people of the highest levels in business and in the industry. So one of the important things we look at in a candidate or a person is what emotional intelligence he has. What marks he has, what technical knowledge he has is secondary. We can even teach them later on. For example, if you are learning standard deviation or something in linear programming, something, you can even learn it at 3 years later. But emotional intelligence, if you don't start learning from now and put them into practice, you cannot become good in that later on. Any formula, this 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, you can learn later on also quickly. But emotional intelligence and learning to understand your own feelings, you have to start doing it today. So let us today find a simple way how to do, how to understand our own feelings. Now, self-awareness just means if you look at the mirror and see your face, you think, who am I? You must be able to quickly say, I'm a person who's confident, I'm a person who can smile, I can person who likes to help people, I'm a person who doesn't get irritated when the traffic is bad or somebody scolds me, or I am a person who is moody, even negative things. If I'm, you must know. It is like giving your blood for a test in the lab. You must know that your blood has weaknesses. Otherwise, how you can correct it? See, ignorance is the worst deficiency for a person. It doesn't matter if you know that I'm an angry person. If somebody asks you in an interview, what are your weaknesses emotionally? Say, sir, I immediately get irritated by when somebody scolds somebody else, or when I see this or that, and I get sad, and I take a long time to get over it. Something you must be able to say about your weaknesses. Otherwise, you cannot convert them into good emotions. So the self-awareness is something. Today, I will tell you a technique which will make you understand your own emotions. Take a paper, sit in a calm place when you can spare about 1 hour or so, and then think what emotion you get when you wake up in the morning first. Whether you feel a little tense, or a little lazy, or a little unsure, or a little afraid, or a little happy, whatever. See, you see so many emotions. If you go to the net, you can find thousands of emotions. So like that, from morning to night, write all the emotions that you get. When you look at your college professor, what do you feel? When you look at this friend, what do you feel? When you look at your mother, father, anybody, right? When you get exams close by, when you get, for all situations, write the emotions. Then divide them into positive and negative. Find out the reasons for the positive emotions and increase them. So the quantity of positive emotions will go up. Find the reasons for the negative emotions and find solutions to address the cause. And then the negative emotions will slowly reduce in their number and also in intensity. and then they will all even convert into positive emotions. This is the self study which nobody else in the world can do. Only you can do for yourself. I cannot give my blood sample to somebody and ask them to give me the self awareness report. Okay, friends. So please do this. It will be a life changing awareness for you. You will be aware of yourself. Then only you will know who I am. Who am I? What am I made of? What emotions do I have? We must know, no? We cannot just spend time day after day after day and then the thoughts convert into a wrong personality. So this is important in self awareness. Now I will teach you today a simple technique to change your emotions from bad to good. Now you see this bat, it is hanging upside down. So it is seeing everything in a completely 160 degrees different way. This is called reframing. That is, you have a picture, you totally reframe it and put it upside down, and then the outlook is completely different. Now, for any problem solving, for any managing any situation, you have to think differently. They call it thinking out of the box, lateral thinking, different thing. Now, for that, you have to change the way you think. They say simply, if you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. I'll repeat it. If you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. So, for your emotional intelligence, you have to look at things differently. And you see, friends, now one of the important things that you will continuously face in your life is failure. In very, very, very small ways, very small ways. If you miss a bus, small failure. If you fail in your exams, a little more failure. If you hurt yourself in an accident because of your negligence, that's some failure. Like that, like that. But failure management is an art. It's also emotional intelligence helps you to manage your failures. Failure management is very important. Problem solving, it is, instead of looking at a failure like in a play you lose, you look at it as a feedback, an experience. What made you lose? If you analyze them, you will solve the problem. You lose in a game of tennis or cricket, you will analyze, this is the reason why I lost, so next time you don't do that, then you won't lose. So for the all this is called emotional intelligence. Now I am going to teach you one technique called the 90-10 principle. This was developed by a management guru called Stephen Covey. He formulated this technique called 90-10. Now what he says is 10% of whatever happens in our life is beyond our control. It is based on external factors, not within your control at all. But 90% of the life is based on what or how you react to that 10%. So which is bigger, 90 or 10? 90. And 90 is within your control. 10% is not within your control. So can you control the 10%? No, just leave it. But can you control the 90%? Yes, because it is with you. It is depending on your way of reacting to that or responding to that 10%. Now see the traffic jam. Sometimes we face situations like this. When we want to go to a place, we have a problem. Is it your problem, your mistake, or the traffic jam mistake? Traffic jam mistake. So it is 10%. But 90%, see, the one person on the left is smiling, the right person is angry. So some people, some of us will get irritated from the morning. It will pass on and on and on, and it will become more and more and more till the night when we come back to home, and then still it will go on increasing. The 90% is spoiled. Now what we have to understand is we have to be conscious that everything is in our mind. We have to be very careful to not have negative things, and so we have to look at everything as a challenge or a small situation or a feedback, and then try to manage it. So this reframing is a word that you have to remember, which is also a part of emotional intelligence. Let's come to empathy. Empathy is very important for emotional intelligence because emotional intelligence is two parts. One is managing your emotions, managing others' emotions. Managing others' emotions, you need empathy. Empathy means, see, say sympathy. If somebody is poor, a beggar is coming, is asking for some food, you give, or money, you give. That is sympathy. Empathy means you put yourself in somebody else's position. For example, excuse me, I'm a coach and I have a student who I want to train to play tennis. So as a coach, I try to give him the best, but he's not able to do. So if I become angry and shout at him, "What is this? You are an idiot! I'm like a donkey. I'm slogging for you so much, and I'm teaching you. Can't you even understand this small thing and learn this small thing?" So after several months, you are not. If I shout like that, that means you don't have empathy. He may have some reasons for not being able to learn. Everybody cannot learn everything in the same way. Some people may take more time or small time, like the hare and the rabbit and the tortoise. So you must put yourself in the other person's position and think, why he said like that? What was the situation? He may have some influences at home or in some place. So his background was like that. He might have done like that. It doesn't matter. He is also fine. In his way, it's a different way of thinking. Let us take that also. Let us discuss with him. What made you think like that? This sort of a way of thinking is empathy. So, friends, in your life, with your own friends and with your home neighbors, and later on when you go to your profession, always have empathy. Let's come to some two important things. We are coming to the fag end of the session. We are going to talk about two important negative emotions. Like I said, it is like our life, friends, is like a statue. It is structured or sculpted out of a rock, which is rough or not very clear. How we can take the beautiful idol or the statue inside by just removing the unwanted things? They are called excrescences. If we remove the excrescences in our life, what remains is beautiful. That is all. So in emotional intelligence, we learn how to remove the negative things or even convert that energy into a positive energy. So we are going to now learn about a technique which is going to convert a negative stress into a positive stress. So always when we say stress, I'm at stress, I'm always stressed out. So do you get stressed out in during exam? So many ways we use this. We think that the word stress itself is bad. No, it is like the cholesterol. In our body, we have the good cholesterol and the bad cholesterol. So now today we are going to learn that the good stress is called eustress. See, just think when somebody like Dhoni enters the pitch, last over, World Cup finals against deadly Australians. Fastest bowler in the world is bowling. Dhoni is going last 1 over, 6 balls, he has to hit 22 runs. Eden Gardens, 1 lakh spectators, over 1 billion people in India, and more than 2 billion are all around the world watching. Do you think he won't have stress when he is walking inside? His legs won't be shivering, his mind is perspiring. Do you think it won't? But how he has converted that energy into something to do like magic, and he hit 24 runs. He was in the peak of the stress. That is, he converted all those emotions into eustress. That is what used to do. See, in your class there will be a topper. Do you think the topper won't have stress when he is entering the exam hall or when he is about to see the question paper? He will have, but he will just bring out all the energy in the form of remembering whatever he has studied, and then he will write the exam fantastically, and then he will peak. So this peak performance, like we call, you see this graph which is going up, the topmost point is called the peak. He's peaking continuously. The level of performance is at his peak. He's always peaking. Virat Kohli is always at his peak. How is he able to do that? Because he is doing, he's using is eustress. This is emotional intelligence. So friends, in your own life, in whatever way you're going to be being in your life, you're going to be a professional, like I said, an entrepreneur or anybody, your life will be happy if you are peaking in your performance. For that, you must have eustress. You must convert all the things. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about anything. Just go and talk. See, there was a singer, a famous singer in USA. She had the teeth very much in front. I forget her name, sorry. And so she was a beautiful singer, but she was very conscious about this teeth. So she was thinking that she was looking very ugly, and so she was not able to perform well. So she went to a psychologist, and the psychologist told her about eustress. And she said, don't worry about anything. This is only a physical feature which God has given. You have not made it. God has made you be born like this. It is not you are black, your teeth are out, your face is not beautiful. It doesn't matter. But you have your skill that you have practiced so well that you can make people become happy with your singing. You can make patients get over their sickness. You can do wonders. You can make people happy. So you don't worry about anything. You just go there and do your best for the sake of the happiness and for the sake of the joy that you want to give to others. Like that, the doctor, the psychologist converted. And then the next performance she gave, she just forgot about the whole audience. She just forgot about the press. She forgot about everything. She only thought, I'm going to make these people the happiest people in the world today. And she sang so well that in her future, her teeth became her trademark. Because of that, she got a name and she became very powerful, and she got over that. So like that, friends, get over the negativities, change the negative things to positive things, change the negative cholesterol to bad cholesterol to good cholesterol, and then your entire blood will be purest. Next, I'm going to give you 10 tips quickly to manage your stress. Always don't bottle up your stress, your feelings. Tell it to somebody close to you. Always try to compromise. That means don't give up your self respect or self esteem, but try to understand that sometimes things will not be completely the way you want. So try to compromise. Be more assertive. Assertive means, in this picture you see on the right side a person very angry, on the left the person very shy. I'm sorry. And in the middle the person is neutral. Assertive means when you have to say no, you have to say no. When you feel you have to say yes, you have to say yes. You should not say no when you have to say yes, and you should not say yes when you have to say no. Without being rude, to express your feelings to somebody is called being assertive. So you must always be assertive. In that case, you will not bottle up your stress and be suppressed by your negative thoughts. Like Principal Sir said, time management is very important, because if you don't manage your time, you will not be prepared for many things, and that will not also give you negative stress. If you don't study properly and in time, you will have stress during exams. Somebody who studies on a daily basis and is a little aware of the subject, he'll feel confident and he'll feel better. Some things in the world cannot be changed, cannot be controlled by you, like the traffic. Don't try to control it. If there is some Tasmac shop next to your home, and there is something else which is not controllable to you, don't keep worrying about that and spoil your own time, which is beyond your control. Just forget it. That is beyond your control, cannot be controlled. Just leave it off. Some people keep on cribbing about something they cannot control, and they spoil their own time, and stress will be more. See, when we say God, what is the biggest good thing that we think of God? God will forgive all your sins. He will forgive all your bad things, bad thoughts, but whatever your bad things that you have done. So sometimes we also should learn to forgive others without thinking critically, without judging. without coming to any conclusion of this or right. Just let it go. Just forgive. Just just like God. God doesn't do calculations. You did so many good things, you must do bad things. So plus my minus is equal to plus or minus. Then you say good, bad. No, no. Just forgive. No thinking about the past. Forgive, forget, go on. That attitude will also reduce stress. This is important for your emotional intelligence. Every day, whatever small things that you can do, gardening or cleaning your home, or whatever you enjoy to do, writing a poem or a song or singing, or whatever you really enjoy, okay, without unnecessarily wasting time or money, not like that, in a positive way. Whatever you enjoy, do that. That will secrete more happy chemicals. This is something very important for all of you. Humor. Sometimes even the biggest argument can be just like that, controlled with a joke. Just a joke. Somebody calls you a stupid donkey. Really? A person with a good emotional intelligence can even be so confident to say like that to his, even if you call him an enemy. Oh, really? You call me a donkey? Really? I don't think I have a tail. I really? Oh, but the donkey is capable of doing some things which you can't do. The donkey can take a lot of luggage, and it is one of the important animals in the desert. Like that, if you say, you can change, and you can even not have stress. Reframe problems. If you do, it is a part of neuro linguistic programming. It's very, very powerful. And finally, friends, look at the big picture. Don't look at one small incident. Look at your whole life or college life. You will not lose a friend. You will not lose the exam. You will not lose your life. The last thing that we are going to see in today's session about emotional intelligence is to remove one more excrescency and remove this unwanted thing from the stone, and then you will see the beautiful picture inside. Very important for emotional intelligence is anger management. Now, I've done a lot of life skills studies, sessions with staff and students of colleges and schools. The most important life skill which everybody wants to learn is anger management. They all say, I want to manage my anger. Like we learned before, friends, anger is an emotion. It is okay to be angry. It is fine. It is fine. Doesn't mean that you are permitted to show your anger in college or something, saying that Manivan sir said that anger is an emotion, so it is okay. It is not like that. Anger will be there. That's what I'm saying. Anger will come to you. But the skill is, the emotional intelligence is how to express the anger without being aggressive. You can be angry. I'm angry. Yes, yes, I'm angry. You just scolded me without any reason. I had a valid reason for coming late, but you scolded me in front of everybody. I don't appreciate it. I feel angry. If you say like this, then you are emotionally intelligent. Okay? If you are aggressive and you say, who are you to say? Do you mean that because you are my boss, you can shout at me like that? How can you do that? You are a human being. I am a human being. Like that, if you start or raise your voice or raise your hand or something, that is aggression. Not good for human emotional intelligence. Being very passive, that is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, oh, I'm sorry, and crying. Being passive. But internally, you feel you cannot do like that. I had my own reasons. So that is passive also is not good. So in between, being assertive is the way to manage anger. Now, first of all, sometimes prevention is better than cure, we say. If you don't let the anger set in, okay, if you identify your own sensitive areas and avoid it, that itself is a major this thing. If, for example, you see with that person, I'm always getting into arguments, avoid that person, or just say hello and walk away. That is a trigger which will get you into an anger situation. That is not good. Always look at yourself in a dissociated way. For example, when you are angry, think that your spirit goes out of the body and you are watching yourself. You are watching, for example, if I am Manivannan, I am getting angry. I have to think that I am in a dissociated way. My spirit is going out, and I am watching myself. My face is looking bad, and I am feeling very rude. So that is also not good. So these are the three things that we say. We have to be assertive and not passive or aggressive. Okay, friends, I think we have come to the end of the session. So let me just quickly recap what all we learned today. You must have forgotten. See, one thing you must remember is to take notes whenever you listen to somebody, because research and statistics show that when you come out of the hall, or when you come out of a session, you forget 50% of what you have heard. After one day, you forget another 20%. And after 1 week, you forget another 10%. And you retain only 10 to 20% of what you have heard. So it's important for you to take notes, whether it is in class or whenever you are in passing some sessions like this, because these are all very valuable words that you are hearing. So neural science, principles of emotional intelligence, the power of the unconscious and conscious mind, the power of the unconscious mind mainly, self-awareness, empathy, eustress, and anger management. These 7 wonderful things we have learned today. So I hope most of you will practice these things and become emotionally intelligent people in your lives and become very successful in your careers. Before ending, I would like to give a bonus, like a extra ice cream in the end. This is a mantra, one small thing which I will tell you, which is the most powerful thing for your career success, anything that you are going to do in your life. Passion, education, profession. If they are all three in the same direction or the same path, you will be successful. You will all have your passion, what you want to do, what you're capable of doing. Keep your education along with that. If you feel my passion is different, I've somehow joined this BCom, it's not really my course, don't think like that. I did my chemical engineering, but I've not been in a real pure chemical engineering field in my whole life. But I've used that training. See, every education process is a training. It trains your brain in different ways. The formula, the subjects, the scripts, everything, they train your mind to think differently. And that training makes you capable of learning and doing many things in your life. That's all. So along with your BCom, if your passion is something, learn and strengthen your education with so many other things along with your passion. And if you choose a profession which goes with the passion and the education, you will be very, very strong in your profession. And for all this, you need one important thing in your life, everything that you do, which is curiosity. You must be curious to learn everything, anything that you see. What is this pencil? What is this made of? Who is this man? What is he? What is this COVID? What does it do? Like that, that curiosity will take you to the highest in your life. Thank you, friends. I hope I'm this monologue of my talking one way is been taken in the right way from you. Now I'll be happy to receive any comments or any questions from your side.
Ma'am, unmute yourself.
Yeah. I take this opportunity to thank Sri D. Manivannan for delivering a very impactful address through his presentation on emotional intelligence. His address was all encompassing to understand emotions from the scientific, physiological, and psychological point of view. We also learned emotional intelligence affects our perception and how it shapes us. The importance of emotional intelligence in transactions of day-to-day life was articulated in a simple and effective way, benefiting one and all. Thank you, sir.
Unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir. The floor is now open for interaction.
So there is a question, emotional quotient, how it is related with intelligent?
Yeah, the emotional quotient is a formula like intelligence quotient. If you have your basic intelligence and the way you can think, there is a um, format to find out your emotional quotient, EQ. Just like there is a format to calculate your IQ, we can find out your EQ also. There are some what do you call formats. There are some questions and some answers that you can give. Based on that, we can formulate your EQ. Now there are so many quotients. Spiritual quotient is there, physical quotient is there. So emotional quotient is based on these techniques. See, whatever techniques that I've told you today, if you practice, you will be able to answer the questions in that format very nicely, and your EQ will be very high.
So next question.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people are depending on social media to control anger. Is it the right way?
See, there may be some tips that you may get in the social media. The social media means you may see in the internet, or some people, when you interact with them in Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, they may tell you some things. See, there are different cultures that we are getting into contact in social media, and different people, like I said, the subjective experience of different people will be very different from your own subjective experience or your own culture. So you must understand, try to see how it fits in. So like I said, every skill has technique and practice. You may get some tips from them, from the social media, but you have to first think analytically whether it is a good tip, and then you have to put it into practice, and then you will see the result will tell you whether it is right or not. I hope I've answered you.
Hi, sir. When I'm battling in a cricket match, I have only 2 seconds to decide which stroke to play and score runs. But sometimes I get emotionally blocked due to sledging, etc. Any solution? A student have asked.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I am a tennis player, so I have faced situations like you have faced. I've also played cricket in my district. So I can tell you very clearly. Now, one of the important things that you should do is dissociated experience before, okay, in a visual way. If you see my WhatsApp logo, it is experience the imagery. Now, neuro-linguistic program says that whatever we want to achieve, we have to think in a visual way. For example, if you want to hit 100 runs in cricket, you have to think the previous day, I'm going to go tomorrow, this is the pitch, this is the climate, this is the way I'm batting, this is the way I'm dressing, this is the bowler, he's going to bowl like this, and I'm going to play like this. All these things in a like a visual, like your own way, you have to think. And you have to think in two different ways. Like your view is from the batting position. The second view is from an audience viewpoint. You are watching yourself playing. If you imagine all these things and just forget about everything, then most of your anxiety will be off. And you must also have a role model for whatever peak performance that you must have, and you must try to emulate the role model, and you think like how he has done that. Dhoni has done it, then I can also do it. So he has done like that in front of 1 lakh people. He didn't have much time. He didn't have even less than half a second. You're talking about 2 seconds. Within less than half a second to face that fast bowler, he has done it. So I can also do it. Like that role model will give you power. That imagining from an outside viewpoint also will give you power. So experiencing the imagery, imagining yourself and experiencing it with the sound, with the noise, everything will relieve you from all the negative stress, and what you will do will be the best performance. You try it out and you will see the result.
Kindly suggest simple way to make life happier.
So whatever we have heard, seen today are all tips. There is no one thing that makes life happy. Happiness is subjective. Each one can say happy. I have a friend who is a very simple person. He doesn't have a salary of more than 15,000 in his life, but if you see we can see that he is the happiest person in his in the life. His name is Prem Raj, and I'm happy to tell his name here. He is a role model for me because I have so many things: my wealth, my education, my family, so many things, much more than him. But many times I felt that why he is so happy that I cannot be happy. So it is subjective. So be contented. If you do many things like producing these happy chemicals, doing small things, making others happy, you will also be happy. The first thing that is a sign of happiness is a smile on the face. So if you see somebody smiling, that means he is happy. So that doesn't mean that he has got everything, but it's the way he thinks about himself. So the simple way is smile.
Sir, there are some people who always point on us. There is a problem even if we react or vice versa. How can we avoid such situations without getting irritated?
Yeah. See, this is a very beautiful question, Nirupama. Now, we will face situations like this in our lives when people will tell some things which we feel will not be are not correct, and they also put the blame on us for everything negative that happens, and they will take the what do you call the pride for themselves if something good happens. So the important thing here is to be assertive. First of all, we must think of two things. One is empathy. Think of the matter from their perspective. For example, if the I'm just taking an example. If the college somebody tells you are late, they have a reason to control your time so that they don't have a negative attendance which passes on to the management, and somebody asks why you are not able to control your team. So they may have some things. So they point at us for that. So the way we have to tell is, first of all, understand whether it is better to say, yeah, better to avoid that. Or if you want to say also, you can do it in different ways. If you can't tell it openly, you can send a message. Now there is a phone you can use, or a paper you can use. So you can, certain things you can say. Another important thing I would like to tell you is, whenever you hear somebody telling you something and you don't like it, there is one mantra which I can tell you, which is called separate the message from the speaker. So write down whatever that person has told, and you forget about that person, because many times we are biased by the sight or the sound or the voice of a person, and we forget about the content of what he has told, and then our mind gets influenced. There's an amygdala hijack, and then we get negative emotions, negative chemicals get secreted, and our actions and words are against us. So separate the message from the speaker. Seek in a very unbiased way, without any bias, whether it makes sense, in a very neutral way, like a judge, neutral way, like a third person. Just see whether that sentence makes sense. If it makes sense, tell that person, I'm sorry, forgive, compromise, like we said, many things, give up, don't aggravate it. But if you, on the contrary, you feel that it is not correct, be assertive, communicate with the person. I'm every time, sir, every time you are telling like this in front of others or it wounds me, I'm feeling bad. Would you like to elaborate on what you told? Put that sentence. Ask, tell them, can you elaborate on what you have told? Can you tell more in detail what has happened? And there may be a gap. There may be a communication gap. See, this is part of communication skill. We can have a session on that later. But there is a distortion in communication because of the different subjective experience. So don't get irritated. Think like that. Okay.
Sir, there is a question from
Satish.
Dr. K. Satish, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce. We are so happy he has joined us. Sir, I am perfectionist, but what happened after doing all the work perfectly? I'm stressed, which leads to health issues. Can you suggest how to overcome it?
Beautiful. Dr. Satish, thank you for this wonderful question. I'm also like you. Whatever I do, I want to be perfect in that. What I do, either perfectly or I don't do. So I'm like that, like you. So many times this doesn't fit in with the society or whatever the ambience. Some people are not like that, so they don't really bother whether you want to be perfect or not. So which compromises what you have done, and it doesn't get the desired results, and then you get stressed out. and then it manifests into health issues. Don't give up your perfection quality or skill. Be perfect. Keep up that perfection level. In fact, I would say increase it. Be more perfect. Improve your perfection. It will always be respected. Being perfect is always having its own power. Sometimes we don't see the result or the benefit of the power immediately, but it will always be in your favor. Don't give it up. So that is one side. Second side, don't expect any results. See, when you're getting attached to something, you get disappointed. Like they say in Bhagavad Gita, wherever there is attachment, there is suffering. Don't get attached to the result of what you do. Think only about the preparation and the action. Don't think about the result. If you forget about the result, you don't worry about what is going to be the result, you will not be stressed out. What happens later is immaterial. Be perfect and be done with it. That's all. That job is over. If you be like that, the result, whether it is this way or that way, will not at all affect you. You know you have been perfect and you have done good. That will be enough. I hope I have answered your question.
Hi, sir. Can emotional intelligence be developed by practicing silence?
Yes, definitely, because it calms your mind. It calms your mind. Like I said, there is something called the alpha state. I'll tell you the technique to go into the alpha state very quickly. Even on the move, you can go. But when driving the bike, you don't do that. So sit comfortably in a calm place where there is no disturbance. Tell the people in that place not to disturb you for 5-10 minutes or 15 minutes. And close your eyes. Keep your feet on the ground or lie down. Take deep breaths 3 times. Inhale, hold, exhale. Like that 3 times. Then with your eyes closed, think of the letter 3. Imagine that there is a letter 3 in front of you. And in your mind, call out that letter 3 times. 3, 3. Not orally, in your mind. Think of the letter 2 and tell 2 3 times. Think of the letter 1, think 3 times. In this process, your mind will go to the alpha state, where the frequency of your brain will be very less. Children are supposed to be always in their alpha state. So when you're in the alpha state, your mind will be very calm, and then you will get good thoughts. So emotional intelligence also relates to the mind, its calmness. So by practicing silence also, emotional intelligence can be developed. By being silent, that means I don't know what you mean by being silent. That practicing silence means if somebody scolds you at that time, you should not be silent. You must express something assertively, but not talking unwantedly and losing your energy. That's what, if that's what you mean, yes, it's a good practice.
Nowadays, we are becoming lazy during quarantine. It makes us negative. Can you suggest some tips to overcome it?
Yeah, very nice question, Ms. Kirtika. So it is up to us to decide what we are going to do. Now, see, physical fitness is very important in our life, and even with there is no gym or nothing, even without a pair of shoes or anything, you can practice a lot of floor exercises. So if you do floor exercises, it will remove the boredom, it will improve your mental health, it will make your body very fit, it will make your brain very fresh, and lot of negative things will go. And you can do this twice a day, about 1 hour each, in the morning and evening, and that will also be a lifetime support for you. So fitness is one good thing that can overcome this boredom. And you can do reading, you can take notes, you can do paper reading, you can develop your knowledge, general knowledge. See, you can do a few things which can help you during this parent quarantine. I can tell you, friends. One is make a goal for your life. Divide it into three parts: immediate, medium term, and long term. Short term is within 1 year, medium term is 2 to 5 years, long term is 5 years and above. Make a plan. Make a plan of your life, and starting from here, where you want to go, what are the steps in between. A lot of tips you can get from the internet on how to make goals. Neuro linguistic programming has some very beautiful, wonderful tips on how to empower your unconscious mind, subconscious mind, to strengthen you to make the goal setting. So goal setting you can do. You can improve your vocabulary. You can learn 3 to 5 words a day. You can improve your communication skills, general knowledge. These are so many things. If you do whatever I've told you, 24 hours will not be enough. Yeah. I think
Thank you
this
so
will
much, sir.
remove
I
the
think now
negative.
we can wind up with the interactive session. We'll go for the next session.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. K. Monish Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department, Corporate Secretaryship Evening to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ma. A warm and graceful morning to everyone presented here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks. First of all, I thank Lord Almighty for making today's event a resounding success. I express my gratitude to the Secretary and the Principal, DG Vaishnav College, for their unstinted support and encouragement to conduct this program. On behalf of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, both day and evening, I am grateful to our chief guest, Sri D. Manivannan sir, who accepted our invitation and graced the occasion. Sir, your thoughts have enlightened the young mind and has shown the importance of emotional intelligence in our life. Thank you, sir. Further, my sincere thanks are due to Dr. Prabha Rajagopalan, Associate Professor and Ed. Day, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, and Dr. K. Kalpana Devi, Assistant Professor and Ed in Charge Evening, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, who inspired and encouraged the staff at every stage of work. My special thanks are due to Dr. Rajachitra Manivandan, Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship Evening, for having conceived the idea and bringing the eminent speaker for this workshop. Thank you, ma'am. I thank all the faculty members of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, both day and evening, for extending their support. I thank the student, Miss Priyasi Sarda, second year BCom CS Day, for being master of comparing, and Mr. N. Lokesh, third year BCom CS Evening C section, for designing e-invite and e-certificate. Last but not least, a big thanks to all the participants who joined us in this program. Thank you all.
Students' feedback link has been posted in the chat box. You can fill it up for receiving e-certificate. Thank you.